Hello, dear students. Today we will study the poem My Mother at 66 by Kamla Das. This is the first poem in Class 12 Flamingo textbook. So let us begin. I would like you to pay a few moments and pay some attention to these two photographs. These two photographs exhibit the pure love of a mother and what all does a mother mean to a child. Mother in different languages is known by different names. Some call her mother, mom, ma, mama, mummy, amma. Irrespective of by what name she is called, she is an epitome of pure love. She is an epitome of selflessness. And one can't think of life without her. The thought of her not being around brings a shudder down our spine. So Kamla Das, in this poem, My Mother at 66, is going to portray the feelings of a daughter when she sees and realizes that her mother is actually aging. And the fear of separation from her mother is very well described through this poem. My Mother at 66 is written by Kamla Das, who is famous for capturing complexities of human relationships. The poem My Mother at 66 is one of the finest examples of human bonding, especially that of a mother and a daughter. It describes the pain and the fear of the poet of losing her mother due to the harsh reality of life, which is death. The poet Kamla Das was born on the 31st of March 1934, and she's also written a number of poems under her one-time pen name Madhava Kuti, and she's also written as Kamla Das. She was an Indian English poet and a leading Malayalam author from Kerala. There are a number of awards and recognitions which you can see right here on the screen. So let's recite the poem without any interruption, without any description of the word meanings. I'm going to recite the poem. Driving from my parents' home to Cochin last Friday morning, I saw my mother beside me, dozed, open-mouthed, her face ashen like that of a corpse, and realized with pain that she was as old as she looked, but soon put the thought away and looked out at young trees sprinting, the merry children spilling out of their homes. But after the airport security check, standing a few yards away, I looked again at her, wan, pale as a late winter's moon, and felt that old familiar ache, my childhood's fear, but all I said was, "See you soon, Amma." All I did was smile and smile and smile. Now I'll give you a few minutes to look at the word meanings. The mother dozed, that means she took a small nap while they were traveling towards the airport. She was ashen, almost pale, like a corpse dead body. And the children were spilling out, that means they were running out of their homes to play. And the trees were sprinting, that means it seemed as if they were moving fast because the car in which the poet and the narrator was driving were traveling was actually at a very high speed. She also looked vain. The mother looked vain, thin, and weak. She was pale, dull, and colorless. Now let us look at the paraphrasing of this poem. There are similes, imagery, repetition. These are the three figures of speech that have been used. The color of the mother's face has been compared to that of a corpse. Ashen, and the use of like, which shows that it is a simile. When we talk about imagery, there has to be some image that is formed in front of our eyes while we read those words. So when the poet says trees sprinting and merry children spilling, we can imagine what is the poet seeing? What is the poet seeing while traveling in the car? She sees that trees are running behind and merry children, happy children, which is also symbolic of life, are spilling out of their homes, running out of their homes. There is a repetition of the use looked, which is again indicative of what she, as a poet, tried to emphasize and pay attention to. The question that arises is, why are the young trees described as sprinting? Because the car in which the poet and her mother are traveling is speeding away to the airport, and the young trees look behind as if they are running behind the car. Another reason why the young trees have been referred to here, because the poet deliberately wants to juxtapose life, activity, the image of life and activity outside the car with the image of inactivity inside the car, which happens to be her old mother. That is a similar reason why the poet has brought in the image of merry children spilling out of their homes. Because those merry children actually show a deep contrast between the joy and happiness of life, which can be seen inside the car, and the passivity of life, which can be felt by looking at the ashen face of the old mother who is old and decaying inside the car. When the poet sees her aging mother who is about to die, she felt the pain of losing her. This is similar to the pain which she used to feel if her mother was not near her. She feels that as her mother is growing old and pale, she will die soon and they will get separated. Time and death never spare anyone, not even the poet's mother, and so she has to lose her. The mother has also been compared to the late winter's moon because the moon in the winter season is dim and appears lifeless. It doesn't look shiny. Similarly, the poet's mother, due to aging, has become dull. Her color is similar to that of ash. It looks dull and has lost its youth. She looks like a corpse. The mother's parting words of, of the following: "See you soon, Amma," show the pain and fear of losing her mother. But she smiles and looks at her mother to give her ailing mother assurance that she will meet her soon. At this time, she's really overwhelmed with emotions and she's trying to hide her feelings of pain and fear from her mother and tries to console herself and her mother that they both will be able to see each other again. This poem doesn't have any particular rhyming scheme. It has been written in free verse, and the rest of the similes and imagery has been described in the previous slide. So what is the poem about? In this poem or poem, The poet describes the old age of her mother. She is weak and pale and dozes on her seat in a vehicle. She sleeps with her mouth open and is hardly conscious of her external surroundings. The poet describes the pain she feels at the thought of losing her mother. She feels pain and ache at the weak and miserable condition of her mother. The poet makes the use of similes in order to emphasize the weakness of her old mother, in order to contrast the life of activity of the young children with the life of inactivity of her old mother. She brings in the image of merry children spilling out of their homes to bring out this contrast. These are the textbook questions and they have already been described in the previous slides. If you pay attention to the previous slides, you will be able to answer them. Thank you, children. I hope you have enjoyed and understood the poem or the poem by Kamala Das, Mother, My Mother at 66.